So under the objectives of bookkeeping, the last point is that to fulfill the legal requirements. So these are the objectives of bookkeeping. The next is the advantages of bookkeeping. So it provides permanent and reliable record. As we are recording all the business transactions in a chronological order, it helps us to have a proper record of the transactions into the books. So hence it provides a permanent and reliable record. The second point is that it is useful to get financial information. So all the monetary transactions will be recorded in the books of accounts. So it helps us to get financial information as on a particular date. Whenever we want to get some information by going through the books of accounts, we can get the necessary financial information. So it helps to have control over business activities. So when we record all the business transactions in a chronological order, whenever we want, we can just scrutinize that. By looking into the books of accounts, we can have a proper control. We can do budgeting. We can also have cost control over the activities of the business. So the entire control, right, helps to have control over the business activities. So all these records, books of accounts, serve as a legal evidence in case of any dispute. So this acts as an evidence. So in case of any dispute, if you show your books of accounts, it acts as an evidence. So the first point, connect with that, it provides a permanent and reliable record. So this permanent and reliable record will serve as a legal evidence in case of any dispute. Then it helps in interfirm and intra-firm comparison. Interfirm means from one firm to another. Intra-firm, within the firm, comparing the present with the past year, the previous year. Interfirm means comparison between two firms, firm A, firm B. Intra-firm can be within the same business enterprise. You can compare the performance of the enterprise the current year with that of the previous year. Then useful to find out the tax liability. So these are the advantages of bookkeeping. Limitations of bookkeeping. So what are the limitations? Only monetary transactions are recorded in the books of accounts. Non-monetary transactions will not be recorded in the books of accounts. Some non-monetary transactions will affect the business. Those transactions are not recorded in the books of accounts. It is one of the major limitations. So any dispute between two departmental heads will automatically affect the business. That non-monetary transactions are not recorded in the books of accounts. The reason for the decrease in the output or decrease in the profit, and maybe so many reasons for it, right? All these things will affect the business. When the non-monetary transactions are not considered, we cannot predict the exact financial position or the exact progress of our business. That is one of the major limitations of bookkeeping. Then effects of price level changes are not considered. So if there is any change in the price, it will definitely affect the business, and the effect of which is not considered is a limitation of bookkeeping. Then financial data recorded are historical in nature. Historical refers to the past data. The current value of an asset or they are not recorded according to the current value, only based on the historical values. It will be recorded in the books of accounts. So these are some of the limitations of bookkeeping. The differences between bookkeeping and accounting. So bookkeeping is the primary stage, first stage, wherein we will record the transactions into the books of accounts, recording and classifying the business transaction. Accounting is the secondary stage. So it is concerned with recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing and interpreting the financial information. So bookkeeping is something routine and clerical in nature. So with basic skills of accounting is enough in order to record the transactions into the books of accounts. Whereas accounting, it is analytical in nature. So you have to know the principles, procedures and practice of accounting. So it requires thorough knowledge of the principles, procedures and practice of accounting. The last difference between the bookkeeping and accounting is that analytical skills are not required for bookkeeping, whereas analytical skills are required for accounting. So these are the differences between bookkeeping and accounting. The next topic is accounting principles. So accounting principles are the basic norms and assumptions or conditions upon which accounting has been laid. So they provide a proper structure, unifying structure to the accounting process and accounting reports. So they provide uniformity and consistency in the accounting methods. So such accounting principles are known as generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, GAAP. So generally accepted accounting principles. So they are the basic norms and assumptions upon which accounting has been laid. So it provides a unifying or uniform structure and consistency in the accounting methods. So these are the accounting principles. So under accounting principles and concepts, the first concept is the business entity concept. So under this concept, the owner and the business are two different entities, which means we have to treat the owner separate and business separate, must not mix both together. So in case if you are mixing both the owner and the business together, we may not be able to find out the progress of the business or the financial position of the business and the exact profit or loss of the business. So we have to treat owner and business separate. So which is based on this business entity concept. So owner is different entity, business is different. The second concept is money measurement concept. So we have already seen this. Only monetary transactions are recorded in the books of accounts, which is based on this money measurement concept. So non-monetary transactions will not be recorded into the books of accounts, which is one of the major limitations of bookkeeping. Right? So we have seen this concept in bookkeeping itself. So only monetary transactions are recorded in the books of accounts, which is based on the money measurement concept. The third one is the going concern concept. So we are assuming that business will continue for a longer period of time. So business will continue for a foreseeable future. So all of us start a business in order to make profit and with a thought that the business should grow. Right? So we will assume that the business will continue for a longer period of time, which is based on the going concern concept. The next one is the cost concept. Assets are recorded at cost price. So in the balance sheet, when we record the asset, we will be recording the value of the asset with the cost price and not at the market value. Able to understand this? This is based on the cost concept. Then the next one is dual aspect concept. As the name suggests, dual means two. So every transaction has two aspects. One is the debit aspect, the other one is the credit aspect. Debit aspect is the receiving aspect. Credit aspect is the giving aspect, which is based on this dual aspect concept. The next one is periodicity concept. So according to this concept, accounts are closed at the end of each accounting period. So we may follow either calendar year or financial year. Calendar year starts on 1st of January and ends on 31st of December every year. Financial year will start on 1st of April and it will end on 31st of March the next year. So anyways, whether it is a calendar year or a financial year, one accounting period is generally a period of 1 year. Full year. 52 weeks, a period of 12 months, 365 or 366 days. So accounts will be closed at the end of each accounting period. The next is the matching concept. So expenses related to a particular period should match with the revenue relating to that period. So what is revenue? The difference between the income and the expenditure. You call it as revenue. So the expense should match with the revenue. Expense of a particular period should match with the revenue related to that period. In realization concept, so revenue should be recorded only when it is realized, only when you receive that. So revenue should be recorded only when it is received. The next concept is the objective evidence. So every transaction must have a supporting evidence. A voucher acts as an evidence that a particular transaction has taken place, right? So you may have a cash receipt or cash memo, bank paying slip, invoice. All these acts as an objective evidence. The next one is accrual concept. So transactions are recorded when it is entered into and not when the settlement takes place. Under accrual concept, transactions will be recorded as and when it takes place, not at the time of settlement, whether payment or receipt is being taken, right? So it will be recorded once the transactions are entered into and not when the settlement takes place. Consistency. So according to this concept, accounting rules and practices should be continuously observed. You can't keep changing the rules now and then. So you have to stick on with a particular principle and it has to be followed throughout. So it should be consistent, which is based on the consistency principle. Under the full disclosure concept, accounts must disclose full and fair information. So as we all know, the financial information has to be communicated to the different users. So all vital information should be disclosed in the financial statements. The next one is materiality concept. So relatively important monetary items are to be recorded and disclosed in the financial statements. This is called as the materiality principle. In conservatism, while recording transactions, only the prospective losses should be considered and not the prospective income. So it is just like prevention is better than cure. We are going to apply the same concept here under conservatism. So when we record the transactions, we will consider only the future loss, but we will leave out the future income. Prospective means what you will get in the future, right? So under this principle, we have to record only the prospective losses and not the prospective incomes. So we have to consider only the prospective losses. So these are the accounting principles and concepts.